All right, welcome back to Talkin Texas Forever, a Friday Night Lights podcast. I'm Michelle.
And I'm Liz.
And we're discussing season 2, episode 12, Who Do You Think You Are? Original air date January 18th, 2008, written by Carrie Aaron and directed by Michael Waxman. Carlotta goes back to Guatemala, leaving Matt sad.
Sorry.
I'm like,
That was just like a funny sentence. Leaving Matt sad. And plus the hammering. Sorry if you guys hear that. We don't know what is happening next door.
Can you hear the hammering? Because I'm also laughing because leaving Matt sad, and all here's don't. It's 8 p.m. after 8, and my neighbor's working on something outside.
Who knows why?
Okay, it's quiet. Let's go. Let's get it in. Okay, part of Santiago's past returns. Noelle and Brian find out their parents don't agree with their relationship. A Christian radio station hires Lyla as their new on-air personality, while Coach Taylor and Tami hunt for a new daycare. I got distracted again.
A daycare.
They hunt for a new daycare for Gracie Bell.
Yeah. This is a hard one.
It was. I told you that because last week I didn't want to tease to you that this was
a heavier episode.
Yeah, and let's teach you about race.
Right.
Episode we had last season's, with Mac and the football and the bus and the team. Remember all that?
Like I said when we were watching, it's important to still highlight the race issue in this town. It should not go away. Just sad all around. Sad situation.
Yeah. The 4 words I gave you: bond, radio, love, and friend. These were to describe this episode. You did really well.
It did pretty good.
You did. Yeah. So let's start with bond. This had to do with Tami and Eric's bond to Gracie Bell.
This is a really hard, trying situation. Again, I don't have children, but I can only, even just my friends that have to go back to their jobs or go back to school or whatever it is. Like, this is such a tricky situation.
Do you have friends going through this?
Yeah. I mean, my first friend that had a baby, he was in daycare. I mean, luckily she did have help from her in-laws and from her mother as well, which is like my goal.
Yeah.
Mom and in-law, like, please come and help. But if you don't have that, you have to put your kid in daycare unless you don't go back to work.
Yeah. Yeah. So Tami finds a new daycare, which first Eric's concerned about. Like, where'd you find this one? I don't know. I think it looked real.
It looked absolutely real. And I think maybe I just don't know Dylan. Like, I'm expecting more out of Dylan when I should be like, no, that makes sense for the town. What's wrong with me?
What are you expecting?
I don't know. I expected like maybe just a little bit more. It just seemed it seemed a little run down to me. I don't know. It just judging by the outside, but we can't judge a book by its cover. So who am I to say that they're not a good daycare?
Yeah, well, this specific daycare had an opening. So Tami,
immediately.
Yeah, and Tami's quick to bring her. She tells Eric, you bring Julie to school. I'll bring Grace Bell. As soon as she gets there, she realizes, I can't do this. It's too soon. So she goes to school and has Glenn looking after Gracie Bell.
Horrible. I love Glenn.
Oh, I do too. He's Tami's work BFF.
His best friend.
And obviously Eric walks in on this and finds it funny, like, oh, look, Gracie Bell is here.
I loved when she pushed her in the hall in the stroller. Hey, how you doing, girl? How's that going for you? Just like pushing her around. It's so funny.
Yeah, needless to say, Gracie Bell didn't make it to daycare all week.
3 days specifically.
Yeah, because we see the turn of events of her coming to school. Eric talks with Mac. They're going over gameplays, and Mac has this conversation of, I saw Gracie Bell. I'm so distracted by this crap, by the knocking. I hope y'all can hear this, because
it's like every time Michelle opens her mouth, he starts hammering, but then when she's silent, he stops.
Where's Ashton?
On purpose.
Where's Ashton?
Yeah. Ashton.
Yeah. Okay. So Eric's having this conversation with Mac, and Mac's like, oh, hey, I saw Tami at school with Gracie. I can't believe you're letting her bring her to school. If I were you, I would tell my wife that she needs to stay home with the kids because that's what women folk do.
Funny. Does Mac have children? To be determined.
I don't know. Doesn't he have daughters? He has a wife.
He might have said that. We know he has a wife that he brought the tulips home to.
Yes.
But the kids, I don't know. Also, the mother stays home.
Right.
So typical.
Right. Eric. Okay. So Eric, in throughout this episode, he's just conflicted of, I wish Tami would stay home. That could be an option, but I don't want her to do that.
Right. He doesn't want to tell her to do that. Also, Tami loves her job. It's not like she has this like 9 to 5 where she just wants to make, ends meet and help her family and pay the bills type thing. But no, she actually loves what she does. She doesn't want to miss it.
Right.
But she also doesn't want to miss her kid and, the steps that her kid will take and her, everything that you have as a parent when your child is a baby. And it's just it's really tricky. So is talking with pounding of the nails.
It's just
that kind of day. It's like the Mondayest Tuesday. I had a very Monday Tuesday today.
Yeah. It's the Mondayest of weeks.
Mondayest of weeks so far. It's only Tuesday.
Yeah. Okay, let's continue on. So Eric and Tami, they end up having this back and forth during dinner, and Julie's like, "Are you guys fighting?" And they're like, "No," and they're just discussing the situation. They later on do talk about it, and he says, "Listen, let's talk. I don't want you to quit your job. You're a damn good counselor. You're a damn good mom, and you're a hot wife.
Sexy as hell," which is so true.
Yeah, and he also says, you know what I found on the internet, that separation anxiety is actually a good thing, and it'll all be okay.
Yeah.
And what did you think of her argument of, you didn't bring her to the daycare? And he said, I would have, you didn't let me. And she said, you weren't ready to do so.
He was very frazzled that morning. And I even said to Michelle, I was like, he needs to calm down. Michelle's like, he gets better. But I was like, he was just very he was like in a mood, a coach's mood that you can tell he's going to be in for a little bit. Just his personality type, as I know for 2 seasons now. And Tami was like, no, I need to do this. And she went. And I think if Eric went too, he would have been like, I don't think this is. I honestly thought, and I go back to like the first thing I said about the daycare, maybe not being like the nicest, but I thought that's initially why she was like, oh, no, we're not doing it here.
Because of how it looked?
Yeah. But then it just stems from, no, I'm just not ready to take her to daycare at all because I don't want to bring her there. I'm not ready for this. But I think Eric probably would have done the same thing.
Yeah, but by day 2 or 3, she just didn't even want to have the conversation with him.
No.
I need you to actually take her.
Yeah.
But they end up taking her together, and they're able to do it. And Gracie Belle gets dropped off.
Emotional for them.
Yes.
And I asked Michelle, I was like, what did they do when Julie was a baby? And Michelle's like, she probably stayed home because we don't think she worked then.
Right.
Which makes sense. So this is probably extra hard. Like her first kid that she's leaving at daycare. And she has to go through that.
And she says to Eric that, I forgot what it's like at this stage.
Yeah.
It's been 16 years since they had a new little baby.
Yeah.
So sweet.
She's so cute.
I know.
They must use twins, right?
They usually
It's like
do.
every television movie, like they use twins because it's easier.
Yeah. Okay, let's move on to radio. So Lyla gets a job at a Christian radio station. Her co-host is Chris.
Oh, that's his name, Chris. Didn't even get that.
Matt Zuckery.
Oh, what a dreamboat.
Logan. I am a team Logan girl.
I know you are.
I truly
it's controversial over here, but
listen, I love yeah, no, I do. I love Logan. There's something about Matt Zuckery.
Matt Zuckery is super charming.
Yes, he is.
He's always been. Every character he plays, even if he's a dick, he's still so charming. It's just his persona. Yeah. And Scott Patterson even said, like, on his podcast, like, he's such a nice guy. And that's like, it's always that way, right? Like, sometimes they play a dick on television, but they're super sweet in real life.
Yeah.
You can just tell.
So,
is that Anne?
I don't think so. Okay, now there's like drilling and sawing happening.
It's not gonna be light for much longer. He has to stop, right? I thought Aunt was playing music upstairs.
No, it's like sawing happening.
Yeah.
How am I going to piece this together? I think we're just going to have to leave some of this in.
It is what it is.
It is what it is.
Y'all get the real tea.
Okay, so Lyla and Chris, we see them get to know each other throughout this episode. It's really sweet. They are bonding. They're answering calls together. Kate wants to know, have you or would you ever solicit advice from a radio show host or advice columnist?
Would I ask for advice?
Yeah, or would you?
Or would I give advice?
She asked that next. Yeah.
I mean, sure. Like what we do basically is radio. We do that all the time. Would I accept advice from someone? I probably wouldn't go out and seek a question into the abyss of the radio and have someone answer. Like, what's the one? Delilah
and Dr. Laura.
Or, yeah, like all the ones that are like relationship advice or just like something with, like essentially like radiotherapy where you're asking a question, but you're anonymous or whatever. I've never done that, but I'm not opposed to it. I don't know. I seek like my information elsewhere.
Yeah. Growing up, I've always wanted to be Frasier. I'm listening. The doctor is listening. I'm just upset. I mean, I've loved radio since I was a kid, so I always wanted to do talk radio, and I guess that's why I love podcasting so much.
It's essentially the same.
But I never called in for advice. I love listening to it, though.
Me too. I love it.
But I'm same with you. I wouldn't be opposed to it.
Yeah.
Vic wants to know, have you ever called into a radio show or radio station, won anything like that?
I think back in the day, I called in and got summer jam tickets, but I don't think you had to like do trivia or anything like that. It was kind of just like, you're the 10th caller. And my mom kept calling and calling and calling. And I remember she put on speakerphone. I think we won. It was either like summer jam or winter jam or one of those, BLI concerts. That's one of the local stations out over here. And at Jones Beach, they had summer jam. And that was super fun because it would be Z100 does their Jingle Ball. It's essentially the same thing where a bunch of artists come and they perform their songs. And usually the headliners were big. I remember one headliner for me was like Christina Aguilera.
Wow.
Yeah, which was super cool. I remember Dream. Dream was at one of them. Who else? Like those were like the big ones. So yeah, I think that did happen, but I didn't actually like have to participate in anything.
I remember, and maybe you were at our house when this happened.
Backstreet Boys?
When I won the Backstreet Boy tickets. And I won them for my best friend, but my sister was really upset.
She was pissed.
And I remember them being like, "Are you so excited?" I'm like, "No, I don't like the Backstreet Boys.
I don't like boy bands. I'm so into POD."
Wow. No, it's true though. I didn't like Backstreet Boys or NSYNC at the time.
Didn't.
But they were like, "Oh my God, you're so excited." I was like, "No, I won these for my best friend." And my best friend screaming because she hears me on the radio. It was
amazing. It was so fun.
I know. It was just being a lucky caller. I didn't have to answer trivia.
No.
Yeah. So Lyla, like we said, she gets a few calls, one including a prank call from Riggins. While he's hanging out with Jason and Herc. And then Jason makes a snide comment about how Riggins likes Lyla.
I liked seeing the three of them hang out.
Yeah.
It means a lot to me friendship-wise that Tim is included with the boys. Now he's going over there. He can stay there if he can't stay at, his own place because Lord knows what's happening over there. We didn't even go back to that yet.
Right. Wait, let's touch upon that. Jason moved out a couple of episodes ago.
Yeah, like not last week, the week before, right?
Yeah. So why didn't Riggo go over there and sleep over?
Right. We keep doing this with
I know.
I think, is it possible? I mean, I'm sure it's possible, but was it apparent in real life that Scott Porter was not available for a few weeks? Because we haven't seen him. It feels like a while. But also the past couple, we haven't really done the Landry Tyra stuff either. So like they've been like MIA. So maybe it was just like, oh, we don't have enough funding timing for Scott to come in. So we can't really utilize him for Tim. We could have just like said it though. Whatever. The stuff we harp on is always that. So
yeah. So after this prank call, obviously Lyla knows it's Tim. So she goes over, she confronts him, and she's like, "Why did you do that? This isn't funny." She explains she's getting up before school and after school to give advice.
She's working really hard for this.
Yeah. And he's like, "I thought it'd be funny." And she's like, "Why don't you think before you act?" Go Lyla.
Yeah, I loved that.
I loved her in this episode.
I loved her in this episode too, because she was owning her true authentic self.
Yep.
And that's it. Take it or leave it. Like, if you think it's funny, obviously I'm not the person that you should be with because I believe in this.
Yeah, but also just like how many times.
And also it's disrespectful. You're supposed to be my friend.
Well, right. It's disrespectful. I've helped you out with shit. Like, drop it.
Yeah.
Like, stop.
Yeah, I didn't like that from Tim.
Yeah. So while Tim is driving, he overhears Lyla giving advice to someone and he takes her advice. He stops by to shine your light, right? Like, tell your truth, be who you are. He takes that to heart. He ends up going to a convenience store. He buys flowers. He drives to the promised land.
The promised land. That made me LOL. I was like, oh, that's what it's called?
And as he's walking in, we see Chris and Lyla shutting down and they kiss.
Yeah, because they have an obvious attraction to each other and a little flirtation. And he says, like, oh, you're not so bad on the eyes. And it was really sweet and genuine and also very, like, innocent.
Yes.
Where Tim doesn't understand that, like, very gradual courtship of let's get to know each other on a deeper level. They're obviously they have hooked up in the past, so like that's already not on their side. So he did try the best Tim could at this point after being humiliated by Lyla as he should have been. So he tried his best, but it's not his time. Unfortunately, guys, it's not his time. And I know his time is coming and I'm really not happy about it because I don't like them as a couple. I want them to be individual, but I digress because we're nearing the end of season 2. It's probably not happening here.
So that she just answered that question. We
Yeah.
don't even need to discuss it further. Kate wants.
I just predict. I know I'm just so good. I predicted all of your questions.
Yeah. Kate says Lyla mentions that she burned her old cheerleading uniform when she's talking to Chris about her past. Have you ever burned or otherwise destroyed something to mark a transition or as a sort of cleansing ritual?
No, but I would totally do it. We burned like the boy's cell phone. That was pretty much the only thing we've. The boy's cell phone blew up.
I wasn't there for that. No. Wait, was that at one of my parties?
Yes, at Cedar.
When we used to burn the mail every Memorial
Day.
Day.
The boys threw in a freaking cell phone and the whole thing blew up.
So stupid.
Don't burn your shit, guys. But I feel like as a ritual, yes, it would be healing and like maybe cathartic to burn old things. But I haven't done that.
No, I haven't either. I'll keep it in mind.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, moving on. Santiago, he gets a blast from the past by his old friend Devin, played by Francis Capra. Weevil.
Ah,
I know.
He's such a good actor.
He is. He's great.
He makes you want to punch him. In Veronica Mars, you definitely wanted to punch him a little bit too, but
I loved him in that.
Really want to punch him. Yeah.
So at first it seems like Devin's happy for Santiago and what he's doing.
I know. I was so thrown because I was like, oh, come on, dude. You seem like you were really going to be happy for your bro and just like let him be. But no, you had to be a dick.
Yeah. So he picks him up after school. They end up hanging out outside where he's staying. Buddy's place. Buddy comes home and Buddy's doing the best he can. He introduced himself. He
really did.
Any friend of the Sandman is welcome here. You come over for pizza and you guys can have food. Like, it's all cool. Everybody is welcome. So, like, props to Buddy.
I loved it, but also
cringe.
I didn't find it to be cringe.
Mikasa Sukasa, cringe.
Oh, I didn't catch that.
I don't know.
That's inappropriate.
It just like made me feel a little bit cringy.
Okay, that's cringy. I did not catch that. The intent, I liked. Also, though, what's his name?
Santiago?
No, the other one.
Devin
said about Buddy is accurate, though. Like, don't think he cares about anything but getting something from you. And while I see a different side to Buddy while watching him with Santiago, I truly do, and I really did like him in this episode. At the end of the day, though, if he wasn't playing on his football team, I don't know if he would have just so willingly taken him in, and I don't know.
I think it was partially driven by Lyla.
And that too.
If he wasn't playing on the team, I think you're right on that, but the heart has changed. And because we even see that.
And for both of them, Santiago too. It's funny, we haven't seen Lyla and Santiago even hung out since that moment. It's really just Buddy and Santiago,
and
which
team.
is really special.
Yeah. So because his friends are going to come over, we see Buddy talking in the bar to just random people asking like, hey, if there were like a group of people you didn't know were coming over, would you hide your stuff like a gold watch? But we should all trust each other.
I also liked, but his speech of, you shouldn't judge a book by its cover. And why is there so much hate in the world? And we should be accepting of others. And I was like, yes.
Yes.
But also in the back of his mind, he's like, should I hide my shit?
Right. So then,
and rightfully so, his shit does get stolen. But yeah.
Right. So the guy says, yes, I would hide my watch. So then he ends up going to Tami and Eric asking like, you guys are such great parents. What would you do? Now, mind, this is during the dinner fight scene.
Not the best part, yeah.
And I'm pretty sure they give the advice of you need to trust Santiago. And so he ends up leaving out his signed football and the trophy and the gold watch. Santiago has all these people over where he's so anxious. I felt so bad for him. And Devin ends up taking the watch.
Right. Like they couldn't just have like a chill boys night.
No.
I mean, things could have definitely have gotten rowdy with the boys in general. I didn't need to add like all these other people involved. But I guess Buddy was trusting Santiago to trust these other people not to destroy his house or apartment. And Santiago was so on edge the whole time because things were getting ruined and stained and shit was getting flown everywhere. And then when all said and done, the watch is stolen.
Yeah.
And he's pissed.
Well, of course. So Devin ends up, Santiago goes and approaches Devin about it. And this is where Devin says, like, this guy wouldn't care about you if you weren't playing football. Santiago goes in and gets the watch anyway. They get into a huge fight. But when we get back, all Buddy's concerned about is Santiago and if he's okay. He's like, who cares about the watch? Let me clean you up. This made me cry.
Yeah, I appreciated that for what it was. Yeah.
Right. So
I love this dynamic. I do. It's making me appreciate Buddy for what I haven't seen before from him.
Buddy is not like our other.
I know he's not. Yeah. I know he's not.
Our other total Betty.
No, he's not in that category. And I know I have put him in that category in the past. He has very quickly adapted into being someone who is way more likable than those other villains in our shows. At least quicker than the other ones. I'm trying, guys.
I don't think we can put Buddy in the villain category. Like Guy is a villain.
Well, Guy, yeah.
And there will be more, but
I'm sure there's more.
Buddy, I don't know.
Right. No, he's definitely not a villain. He's a dick. He's
maybe sleazy.
He's sleazy, but he's not a villain.
No. Kate asks, if a group of teenage delinquents was going to be spending time at your house, what valuables or prized possessions would you hide before they arrived?
I don't have many valuables or prized possessions.
Same.
Yeah. We're not even like a cash house.
Yeah, neither are we.
It's bad, actually. We should have more cash in the house. We don't have much cash. So other than that, I can't think of anything. Like I don't own jewelry that I care about except for like my engagement ring or my grandmother's ring, which I'm not wearing any because one of my stones came out.
Again?
Not a bigger stone, not a small stone. Yeah. So Randy has to take it in. That was my sidebar. But other than that, I have nothing of excitement that it can't be replaced in my house.
The only thing I have of value to me is in our fire safety, our box. And that has like a letter from my dad. And obviously
why would someone want that?
Right. That's what I'm saying. That's like my valuables.
Right. Something like that. Or like old family photos, things like that you can't get back.
Right.
If you want to steal my couch, I'll get another one.
And also like if you're having these people over, I'm not going to take the TV down.
No,
it's like the computer.
You want to like semi look normal, like you're trying to trust these people.
Right.
But Buddy does have signed memorabilia and trophies and his grandfather's watch.
Yep.
Which he has nicely placed on his mantle.
He displayed it.
So, and that of course is the thing that he goes and takes. And at first I was like, I wanted to believe that he wasn't the one who took it. Maybe it was someone else. But then he was the one, which sucks.
We know who Devin is.
Yeah.
Devin came for a role.
He came for a purpose.
And that's it.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So let's go into the Smash and Noelle of it all. Okay. So the first comment we get, which you did not even notice, is Noelle runs up to Smash after practice, and we have other teammates say, "You ain't learned nothing from OJ." And then they start dancing and say, "You got jungle fever."
Oh,
so bad. It's so bad. And I'll tell you this, you guys know I watch everything with captions. I don't know if I would have caught that if I didn't have captions.
No, I mean, I didn't even catch it. You had to repeat it to me.
Yeah, I was like, wait,
just now at least, but
you need to focus in on this.
Oh, come on with that.
Yeah. And so Noelle invites Smash and his family over for dinner. They go for dinner. It seems like it's going really well. And which you were like, this is so cute.
It was so cute until I knew it wasn't going to be cute anymore.
Yeah. And so Smash's sisters go off with Noelle's sisters, and Noelle's mom brings up to Corinna, hey, how do you feel about Smash and Noelle dating? Because we're not happy with it.
How about you don't say that in front of your children? Maybe have a private conversation. Right? I mean, the conversation is bullshit and sucks to begin with, but why did you have to have it in front of your children?
Here we go again. It's just what happened last week. You can let him in. Why would you bring this up at dinner in front of the kids?
It's just wrong. It's not teaching your children anything if you're trying to teach them a lesson.
Yeah. And Noelle's dad, I'm sorry, I don't mean to judge, but I wanted to punch his face. It was a punchable face.
It was the bottom lip comes up, so it looks like he's forever smirking, even though it's not a smirk, but it's like a condescending tone face.
Yeah. So we already answered this, that we would have done this very differently. We would have had this conversation not in front of the kids and not with other parents. But how did you?
So, I mean, us two would never have had this conversation.
We wouldn't. But how do you feel about Corinna agreeing? Which we knew she agreed because she's had a problem with Noelle from the start.
Right. And I don't necessarily think it's just because she was white. I think it was because also she was influencing him in such a way that he couldn't see past it.
Right.
And influencing his future and influencing her family. And it was a lot of factors going in there. I didn't necessarily not agree with her then. I clearly don't agree with either side now, but I'm a third party, non-biased. And it hurts me. It hurts me a lot. And unfortunately, both sides are ignorant and won't even attempt to see another light or see a light at the end of the tunnel with this situation. Like, you should at least give it a try. Don't just like automatically. I mean, I don't know how long they've been dating. It seems like maybe a few weeks, longer, right? Because she's been involved in this since maybe before mid-season.
Yeah.
So we just don't really see a lot of it. So I guess maybe it has been built up.
Vic wants to know, did you ever do dinner with parents in terms of like both sides?
No.
You haven't had?
I don't. Mm-mm.
Really?
No. The only time that like all of Randy and I's family were together is when we got engaged. But that's like other relationships. No, we haven't had like the whole pact.
No, I meant with Randy. I didn't.
Oh yeah, with Randy, and it wasn't really dinner. It was kind of just like at my apartment. That's after we got engaged and everyone was there, and then it kind of just like dissipated and everyone left. But yeah, that we never had like a full sit down. Like, let's get a glass, like a bottle open, and
in time. You have time for that.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, we've done it a bunch of times. We've had barbecues and gone out to restaurants, and it always goes well. There's no issues with it. All right, so this leads to Smash and Noelle sneaking around. Specifically, Smash heads to the movies with his little sister, which Corinna's super happy about because they're not speaking.
And she's like, boy.
Yeah.
Like, kind of like get over it. And it's like, well,
I know.
He can't get over it. He likes this girl and you're being ignorant.
Right. So they get to the movies and his sister doesn't understand why, one, they went to a theater that's out of town, and two,
Right.
why are you ordering 3 drinks? Only to come to realize that Noelle is meeting them there.
Right.
So Noelle and Smash, they sit in front of his sister and leave
that was
her
mean.
behind.
They shouldn't have done that. If they wanted to be together, they could have at least had his sister sit next to him.
Or
I know they want to like make out, but like,
well, no, put your sister in front of you.
right. It's just right. That would be less awkward.
Now
for me to watch you, not for you to watch us.
and also you're gonna watch. She's
and
gonna
you can
watch.
keep an eye on her. She's younger.
Right. She's gonna watch you guys make out. It's
gross.
super gross.
Yeah, it wasn't appropriate.
But she
He
gets
didn't think about it.
Yeah, no, she gets harassed by these kids, and they say awful things like, you know, this black and white run in the family. You got one of ours. Let us get one of your, like, awful things. Smash gets up, ends up getting into a fight.
He's like, shut the fuck up.
And they run out. And then,
oh my God. And then this was so sad because his sister was so frightened and upset and overwhelmed. And then so Smash is upset because she was overwhelmed, and he is upset that he punched and just let his emotions out. And also, like, it's a really fucked up situation, and all the things that were said at the movies too.
Yeah, no, it's awful. And he says to her, like, please don't tell mom.
Yeah.
And she ends up
because it would just break her heart.
Yeah. And she ends up keeping the secret.
Yeah. Both sides of parents have been around the block before, and I'm sure have seen things and are quick to judge, and like I said, are ignorant, but that's all they know. So it's hard for me to like really put them like as my shittiest, let's just say, because I understand like they've been like nurtured in that world of no, we should be separate because that's just like probably what their parents taught them and their surroundings. And also Dillon is not a very friendly town, and or people who are different, or people, they're not accepting. And so therefore I don't blame their parents. I just wish they would just try and make a change, like see the change you want to be. Like you should want that for your children. Better not be yelling again after, okay? Do you want to go out? One more time. That's it. Okay, you had your chance.
Yeah, I agree with you on that. And it's just what they're used to. And they're afraid also of what Dillon would think of them.
Exactly. It's all about the outside looking in, and not what they're not. I shouldn't say that. It's all about the appearance and what people will think. And people were staring all over at the movies.
They were.
From that side of the town.
They were. Last but not least, little Maddie's heart is broken. Carlotta is going back to Guatemala because her family needs her.
Wow, I so predicted this. I just did not think it was going to happen this week's episode.
Matt is conflicted because he loves her. And yeah, I mean, I can't get excited about this.
I know y'all in the chat are hating on it. I'm okay with it.
I like her. I don't like them together, especially when we know she's leaving. It's like really hard to get on board with something.
Oh, right, absolutely. Like you can't put any stake in it because it's not going to follow through. And so for the time being, I was like, whatever, they're cute. They seem to have like a nice friendship and relationship, even though it started out a little weird. Like the way it started was inappropriate.
It was inappropriate, but they did have a bond. He lost his virginity to her. So that's a big deal. And they shared feelings. Like, I feel for Matt in the sense of, I know I can sympathize with you, and now your heart hurts. I didn't realize he didn't fill Landry in until now.
I know. I thought Landry would have known this whole time.
He didn't. Apparently, so this scene when they're outside talking, according to Clear Eyes, Full Hearts podcast, Stacey was saying that the scene that was cut was her doing like the like mowing the lawn in the bikini. Remember that job prospect she spoke about? That's what those boys were watching.
Oh, that's that got funny. Cut. Oh, come on.
I know, right?
Well, I guess maybe better that we're not like propping her up on like a, to show.
That's true.
The goods or whatever.
That's true. So Carlotta invites Matt to a quinceañera and tells her while they're dancing that he loves her and she loves him too, and that she shouldn't go.
And she's like, I can't stay, my family. And you have to understand that, Matt. You do everything for your family.
This is true. That's a good point.
Yeah.
He gets home one night and Carlotta has already left, leaves Matt a note.
Well, I'm sure it was too hard for her to say goodbye.
Grandma was sweet. She's like, she was such a nice girl, Matt.
Yeah.
She really wanted to say goodbye to you.
So questionable with where grandma is, what grandma's doing, especially now when Carlotta's going to be gone. What's going to happen?
Yeah, Kate wants to know, does Grandma Saracen still not know what has been happening with Matt and Carlotta?
She don't know.
What do you think her reaction will be finding out? If she cares.
She doesn't know, and she's not going to find out.
Yeah,
I don't think it's relevant even at this point.
Yeah.
They're not going to go back into it. And even if they do, Grandma's going to be like, ah, ha, ha. She's not going to care. She liked Carlotta. She said she was a nice girl. I don't think she's going to care at all.
Yeah, we had that cute moment in the beginning of their scene with Grandma making pancakes.
With the baking soda.
Well, yeah, but also wanting to share that with Carlotta and Matt.
Yes.
So she really did become part of the family.
She did. It was a really weird situation.
Weird. Right. Yeah. Will says, will our ferret king guy come back to the show or what?
I mean, I hope not. I hope that completely just he's on the island.
No, he's not on the island.
Fuck. I would love for him to be on the island so that I cannot feel badly about watching this whole thing unfold. So I'm sure like in either the penultimate or the finale, he'll be back. Because we're on 12. We only have 3 more.
That's right.
It's not going to be next week.
So Scott Tobias from the AV Club. I was reading reviews on this episode. I wanted to see how it was received. And I thought this is an interesting point. But there's ambition and there's execution. And who do you think you are fell considerably short of the mark. There's a fine line between exploding stereotypes and indulging in them for a well-meaning point. And show tread on the wrong side of the line the whole night. I'm trying to read something serious and the cat's meowing. The sawing next door finally stopped.
And now we have Niles
meowing.
I totally agree. There was so much stereotyping.
Yeah.
In this entire episode and cast typing, like we said with Devin's character. Agreed. Like not that it wasn't done like tastefully, but it was just like a lot mushed into one episode. We could have spread it out.
Right. It's like, this is the episode that we're trying to teach, right? And it's in packed in one.
Right.
Yeah, it just let's spread this out or trickle here. Not trickle. I don't want to use that term with these topics, but this could have been different
right. We could touch upon these hard, tricky situations, trying situations, not in all in one episode.
Right. Exactly. Music in this episode, Devendra Benhart, Stevie Wonder, Glenn Campbell, and Sin Vendetta. What do you have for quotes?
My favorite quote was, "It was hard for us." And I loved it. And it spoke to me. And Tami was like, "We just came home. It was really hard for us today. Like, we had a bad day." And I was like, yes, you have a bad day as a family. It was really sweet.
My favorite quote is, "It's not my fault I got a break." And Santiago says that to Devin.
It's true.
So true. MVP and shittiest. Who's your MVP?
Santiago.
Mine is Coach.
Coach?
Yeah. Yes. I felt he was really calm in this episode. Like, you viewed him as being a little up. I viewed him as calm. He listened. He gave Tami grace with you don't need to rush yourself going to daycare.
That I liked.
And also him saying, no, you're not going to quit your job. We're not going to do. And also telling Mac that he's ignorant.
Oh, well, Mac has always clearly been ignorant since the moment we've met him.
Yeah.
I agree with those. I didn't think he was hot-headed. I just felt like I think he was just really overwhelmed the whole episode, and he was trying his best, and he was a good support system to Tami and was making her feel like her feelings are valid. So I agree with you. I picked Santiago because I just felt like I appreciated him sticking up for Buddy, and while the other guys kind of like tried to put him down about it, he was like embarrassed, but he wasn't like, yeah, man, he's a fat piece of shit, or he didn't really feed into it. So I appreciate that. And at the end of the day, he's like, you know what, I'm gonna take this watch back because it means something to Buddy, and Buddy means something to me. And screw you, Devin.
Yeah.
Davin. They keep calling him like Davin.
Devin. Who is your shittiest?
I put the parents question mark.
Yeah, I also put the parents.
Not all the parents, but the parents at the dinner.
Yeah. No, they could have executed that differently.
Right. We didn't need to have this conversation in front of our children. We also didn't really have to have this conversation at all. But I understand where they're coming from, both sides. We could have just talked it out and said, like, hey, let's have a talk with both of our kids and just see where their heads at with this and see, if they feel like threatened by society, and like what could we do to help them, not just speak their mind and their ignorance in front of them. It's not going to help anything.
It's asking a lot of these parents.
It's asking a lot of them. It is. And I know that's like the whole reason we have this episode is because they're like that.
Yeah. Yeah, we had votes for Devin and the kids at the theater.
Well, also, yeah. Yes, the kids at the theater. And Devin sucked too.
Okay.
But I understand Devin because, again, like the parents, you're born and bred into this world. All he knows is being this, quote, thug, stereotypical kid that is not from the right side of the tracks and wants to keep that tradition of who they are with Santiago, even though Santiago's trying to get out. And maybe there's a bit of jealousy there, and maybe there's a bit of fear that Santiago can make it and he's not making it in the world or whatever. So like I understand, I sympathize with him, but he still was shitty.
I mean, you can understand.
I can do that for everyone.
You can understand everyone.
Episode. Yeah.
Everyone in this episode, even the shitty kids at the theater, like absolutely. Because look how you were bred.
It's the same situation.
You're brought up.
Yeah.
All right, Panther Pride t-shirt count. What'd you have?
I didn't count any. I'm sorry.
I saw 2. Kate saw 3.
Okay.
So
yeah, at the end of that, I was like, oh fuck, I didn't count.
Yeah. Yep. All right, Coach's Corner. What was your favorite moment?
I liked Tami and Coach.
Yeah, me too.
Together, like, let's talk, and she's like, damn it, I don't want to talk about it, but he forced her to, and they did hear each other and had a good conversation. And I mean, that was the most like coaching he did in the episode. I feel like he didn't like have to necessarily coach anyone. She didn't really do that either.
Yeah, it was a bye week.
Yeah.
So in terms of football and coaching in that sense.
Yeah. Question, and Mike had brought it up in the chat too. Like, what does Coach do when he's not coaching?
Well, technically now he's like head of the athletic department.
Right. So I guess he has to be on campus at all times.
Yeah, we just don't see that.
We don't see it. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, clearly he doesn't have a job that he can't be home with Gracie Bell.
Right.
So, I mean, I don't know what a coach's schedule is like, but yeah. All right, let's go into a booster of the week. Liz, who is our booster?
Our booster is Jacqueline.
Jack
Attack. She has been with us for quite some time now, and I love each week for whatever episode she sends us the emoji. It's so important for you guys to send us the emoji if you're listening and you're loving the show and you get to the end of the part of the episode where we talk about the emojis and where you can put them, where you can send them. It just is special to us because we know that you're listening and that you're taking the time out of your day to let us know that you are. And she does that each week, and it's so special and so sweet, and she's just a warm, nice person. And we just wanted to thank you for being with us.
Thank you, Jacqueline. Speaking of emojis, which emoji should we pick for this week?
Is there a watch?
There is a watch or a clock.
There's a clock. What
is
else?
There a watch?
There should be.
The time of the show where we check the emoji list.
Let's do a watch.
You can stick that watch in a DM like Jacqueline does to let us know you're listening each week, or you can stick it in an Apple Podcast review and rate us 5 stars. In fact, we did get a new review.
We did. It's from Stoop Boy.
Stoop kid doesn't want to leave a stoop.
Afraid to leave a stoop. Great fan cast. 5 stars. I love that name, Fancast.
That's what this really is. It's not
We
really a podcast.
should use that.
Yeah.
There are 3 potential reasons to listen to Talkin' Texas forever. 1, you're a fan of Friday Night Lights. 2, you're new to Friday Night Lights and want a good spoiler-free rewatch pod. And or 3, you enjoy genuine chemistry between friends, having fun talking about a great TV show. These ladies are great, and so is the pod. That's so sweet.
Thank you so much.
That's really, really sweet. I love that. Thank you so, so much.
Thanks, Stoop Boy.
Stoop Boy.
Thank you. So be like Stoop Boy. Put a watch in that Apple Podcast review. Rate us 5 stars. It would mean the world to us. And then we'll read it here on air.
Yes.
Yeah.
We love it.
All right, Liz, are you ready?
Yes.
She's ready. For next week's title, along with 4 words I'm going to give you to describe the episode, and you can make your predictions. Season 2, episode 13, Humble Pie, which we will have one of our patrons joining us.
Humble Pie. Cute.
Yeah. Can't wait for that. Okay, so the 4 words I'm giving you: charges, gun, jealous, and volleyball.
Charges. Does charges have to do with Santiago? Oh no. Charges are going to do with Smash, because the kid is going to press charges because he didn't do anything, even though he just verbally spewed racism and shit. So charges will be on Smash, which is going to suck. Gun. Maybe we are going to go back to the guy thing because he does have a gun, and we'll use it on Tim and potentially Billy. This is gonna suck. We're gonna what you say?
I wish. Let's get it on another show of ours.
Or like a situation, if you know, that type of situation where one kid is going to be in danger and the other will sort of rescue in a way and take down Guy. Jealous. This is Tim with Lyla and Chris. Because who else would be jealous? I'm just going to go with that. It's going to be Tim jealous because Lyla and Chris have been hanging out. He notices that they like each other. Maybe they start to like date for a little bit. And it's going to make Tim upset because he's jealous and he should have tried harder, but it's not his time. And volleyball. Someone's going to take up the sport. Who could it be? I don't know why it was like leaning towards Matt. That doesn't make any sense. Maybe Julie's taking a volleyball and she's like, I'm actually really not athletic and I can't do it.
She's on the dance team.
But that doesn't mean anything for volleyball. Yeah, my prediction is that Julie is gonna just have this fun volleyball thing, like maybe her and Lois like try out for the team. And well, whatever it is, I look forward because I feel like none of these are correct except for maybe the Smash thing.
Yeah.
You're like, yeah, none of them.
Yep. I appreciate hearing your predictions and look forward to watching with you next week. And our patron, who will be a
TBD.
surprise. Yeah, we didn't pick that winner yet. All right, but before we end this episode, we do have Will's Football Poetry Corner. The holder. The holder receives the snap for the kicker and places the ball tip down on the ground for the kick. Matt is holding deep feelings for Carlotta while she is holding a one-way ticket back to Guatemala. Tami holds on to Gracie Bell when she is supposed to give her to daycare. Finally, Santiago has a hard time moving forward because he is holding on to people from his past.
Oh, beautiful.
This might be one of my favorites.
That's a good one. Yeah, that's
so
great.
good, Will. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Will.
You're the best. And everybody who listens to this podcast is the best.
Yes, you guys are great. Thank you for the listens. Thank you for the downloads. Thank you for the reviews. If you're liking the show and you haven't, maybe consider it. I know you guys know the spiel each week, but when you do, Michelle and I get super excited and we screenshot them and send it to us and we post it on Instagram because we get so excited that you're enjoying the show because we put a lot of hard work and dedication into these podcasts, and it's nice to know that you care and that you're listening.
Yeah, because then it's just us talking.
It's just us talking to us
and
to
in a hot room with saws next door and cats meowing. So if that's your thing, which it seems like it is, come back next week and we'll be discussing season 2, episode 13, Humble Pie.
Makes me think of like blueberry pie. What would you consider humble pie to be?
Apple.
Oh, apple. Okay. I don't know what, maybe humble is like making me think of like huckleberry, and it's making me think it's like purple. I don't know.